how I gutted my HOA. I bought my first house 3 years ago in this neighborhood with like 800 homes. It had an HOA, but honestly, the fees were the lowest in the city and the rules seemed pretty chill. That should have been my first warning sign. A few weeks after moving in, I get this violation notice in the mail. 2 violations. My lawn wasn't green enough and my trash cans were too close to my driveway. I read this thing like 3 times because I thought it was a joke. It was February, middle of winter. Everyone's grass was dead. The whole neighborhood looked like a desert, but apparently mine wasn't dead in the right way or something. And the trash cans, they were on the side of my house but stuck out past the wall by like 1 foot. That was the crime. 1 foot. I figured it was a mistake, so I just ignored it. Then March hits and I get another letter. This time they're fining me $100 for each violation. $200 total, due in 2 weeks. I called the management company completely furious. The lady told me I had to appeal directly to the board at the next meeting. So I showed up ready to fight. Before the meeting started, I'm talking to other homeowners in the parking lot. Turns out like half of them are there for the same BS fines. One guy got fined because his mailbox was the wrong shade of black. I'm not making this up. Then I meet one of the board members. This old dude in his 70s with gray hair and the angriest face I've ever seen. He's the VP of the board. I tell him about my fines and you know what he says to me? You should get fined for that. Young people like you not taking care of their homes is exactly why I'm on this board. Learn to be a better property owner. This man volunteered his free time just to yell at neighbors about grass. That's when I decided I was going to destroy this board. The meeting starts and the moderator mentions they're voting on 3 of the 5 board positions today. Anyone can nominate themselves right now. So I raise my hand and nominate myself. I give this whole speech about how HOAs should serve the community, not make money off stupid violations. I won by a landslide. You should have seen the board members' faces. They looked like they wanted to throw me out the window. After I got elected, they made me secretary. They specifically told me I wasn't allowed to propose new policies, but I could vote on theirs, which I did. I voted down every single stupid rule they tried to pass, but I knew just blocking them wasn't enough. I needed to get each of them off the board. So I started watching and waiting for my chance. The president was this woman who looked exactly like the final boss, Karen. She proposed we should fine people for having flowers that weren't neutral colors. Like if someone planted bright blue flowers, we'd fine them. Why? Because her neighbor had flowers she didn't like, and she wanted to use the board to bully them. That was my opening. I started a message thread with the other board members asking what they thought about her using the board for personal revenge. After way too much back and forth, we agreed it was wrong. Then I posted in our main channel saying she should be removed from the board for targeting a community member. She completely lost it, started crying about how the board was her whole life. I called a board meeting the next week and we voted her off 4-1. 1 down. I got my neighbor friend to take her spot. Next, I went after the treasurer and director. They were easy because they cared way too much about what people thought. So I made a fake account on Nextdoor and waited for spring when all the violation letters go out. When people started posting angry rants about their fines, I'd comment with the first names of those 2 board members. Told everyone to come to the next meeting and complain directly to them. Over 50 people showed up to the next meeting. It was beautiful. Person after person stood up and grilled those 2 for the terrible policies. They tried to defend themselves, but the crowd wasn't having it. After the meeting, they were so upset they both resigned. 2 more down. Now the board was 4 out of 5 people who wanted to kill these dumb rules. But the original VP was still there. The angry old guy who started this whole thing. He kept trying to add more rules to make more violation money, and we kept voting him down. Months went by, and I couldn't find a way to get rid of him. Then we switched to a new management company. They had this website where we could look through all our community records. I'm scrolling through the fines report when I see it. The president's house. He owed over $10,000 in unpaid violation fines. He'd been on the board for 7 years, and the old management company had been hiding it for him. I couldn't believe it. I looked up our bylaws and found out that if someone owes over $3,000, the board can vote to foreclose on their house, which is insane that HOAs can even do that, but whatever. I got all the documents together and called an emergency board meeting. I presented everything, showed them the fines, showed them he'd been hiding it for years. Then we voted 4-1 to start foreclosure. He turned bright red, started cursing at all of us, and stormed out of the meeting. A few days later, we got word that he resigned, paid his fine, and put his house up for sale. I'm president now. I changed the max fine to $400, made it so anyone can appeal online anytime they want, banned all grass fines until May, and basically deleted the trash can rules. All because some old guy called me a bad property owner over dead winter grass.